All right. I am here with Dave Sands, and Dave Sands is Principal of Technology Implementation for SD43. So thank you, Dave, for taking the time to join us here today and talk a little bit about the ACE conference, May 19th and 20th in Coquitlam face-to-face. That will be a nice change. So thank you again.
Oh, thanks, Jonathan. It's my pleasure. Really looking forward to the conference. As you mentioned, I am the principal of technology implementation for School District 43, and that's really encompasses the implementation of both educational and organizational technology for end users throughout our district.
Mhm.
We really focus, most of my work is with the educational side of things, and in terms of using technology to support teaching and learning. We've been quite busy
Yeah,
the last
yeah,
2 years,
yeah.
but it's definitely been a blessing in disguise for sure.
Mhm.
I'm also a father of four,
Oh, wow. Okay.
but I'm an old guy. Yeah, my youngest is 20 years old, and I do have a 30-year-old. So
Mhm.
it's been a ride. It's been a
Mhm.
ride, but it's a little different nowadays. And to that extent as well, I'm also a big proponent of digital wellness. And so I
Mhm.
present on behalf of the district and with a number of other colleagues, Carol Todd, Rob Heinrichs, and we present to parents on a regular basis around how to support their children with healthy technology use.
Mhm. That's great.
Mm.
So another question I had, and I know, as you mentioned, you alluded to, technology for the last couple of years, especially has been
Mhm.
a core focus of the district, and obviously has speeded up with something that we probably never expected with this pandemic that started roughly 2 years ago. So my second question is how did the pandemic again in March 2020, how did that sort of change your team? I know the lit team
Mhm.
was extremely busy. I remember after spring break,
Yeah.
and how has that kind of changed your craft and really trying to keep learning and teaching at the forefront while again trying to educate
Mhm.
teachers and for best practice. I'm sure it was not an easy task.
No, and yeah, as I mentioned, we've been quite busy,
Hmm.
but it's also been quite exciting. We've really uh, taken the opportunity. I've had this saying for the last 2 years: "Never waste a good crisis," and
Hmm.
and with it, we've kind of responded and saw the need of our educators throughout the district, and really said and really had to speed up our plan because we did
Right.
have a 5-year plan 2 years ago that we packed into two.
Well,
Um,
well, yeah.
and I'm fortunate enough to have an amazing team. That's first and
Hmm.
foremost. And with that team, what we really did is took a design focus, and this is something I'm going to talk about in my presentation as well. Really looking at the end user,
Yeah.
really having a lot of empathy for what they were going through, what they needed to accomplish, both educators and students and parents, if you want to
Right.
add that as well, and really looked at how we could provide both asynchronous, synchronous support, so live and recorded digital support to educators, parents, and students to support them in different
Hmm.
ways of teaching and learning. Now, that being said, um, I'm not a big fan of complete remote learning.
Right.
I
Right.
don't think. I think there always needs to be a face-to-face component. But again, the pandemic has really shifted the capacity we have as educators in tools, and now we can be creative with
Yeah.
those learning environments. So maybe we can do a little bit of remote when remote works,
Hmm.
but really take the opportunity when we're face to face to use that time and opportunity in a different way, right? So the pandemic's just shown us, I think, number one, it's helped us to build more capacity and technological tools. It's not only have we built a lot of capacity in it, and but it's helped us provide teaching and learning experiences in different ways,
Hmm.
right?
Hmm.
It's provided different possibilities.
Yeah.
So we have a whole new arsenal of tools and strategies to move forward with.
Mhm. Excellent. Yeah, you mentioned the tools, and I think there's been a lot of excitement. I know at the initially for a lot of teachers in our organization, going fully online was overwhelming for many. But as we learn more and that education piece. And learning that there are tools, I think, was exciting. These new possibilities, and that's kind of my last question here, with an eye towards the conference. I know you mentioned design focus, and I was looking at the title of your presentation. So, what is next? I know that's what you're going to be talking about. Maybe you can just give a bit of a teaser. You don't want to give too much away, obviously, but what can attendees expect in your presentation?
Well, I'm glad you mentioned the design as well. I'm going to talk about that in a moment. But, over these past 5 years, I'll call it 5 years, because Directions 2020 was really using technology to support student learning.
Mm-hmm.
We learned how to use the tools.
Mm-hmm.
I think what's next is how to use them well.
Yeah, right.
How to do it, to how to do it well. And I think, I think you might agree, is as I've been continuing to go through this over the past 2 years, it's a long time, is I start to look at how I'm presenting online,
Mm-hmm.
and then how can I do that better?
Mm-hmm.
How can I engage my users a little bit more? And again, seeing the incredible blessing
Mm-hmm.
of having that face-to-face component, right?
Yes.
I miss it so much. So in my presentation, I'm going to walk the talk. All right.
Okay.
If we have the opportunity to be face to face, which I really think we are going to, I like to engage people in my presentation. So it's going to be a very active. I'm going to get you to connect with people. I'm going to get you engaged, not just speaking and listening, but also online with devices as well. Mm-hmm. So I really, hope people bring, even if it's just a phone, most people will bring a phone as well, but I'm going to engage you in various processes. We're also going to look a little bit of that design thinking process. It's something that we're basing on our new STEAM model. It's a very large part of our new STEAM model. It's very closely related to inquiry-based, project-based, problem-based learning.
Yeah.
But the real focus is, how do we look through the eyes of our users, right? How do we look through the eyes of our adult learners, our young learners, even for myself, my educator learners, right? For professional learning, how do I look through their eyes, understand what they need, and then respond? And I'm going to do maybe a few exercises around that. I'm also going to talk a lot about accessibility,
right,
and how we use these tools to level the playing field for all learners, and as well equity. And that's a big piece coming into 21st century learning, as well as providing equitable learning opportunities for all people and all learners. I guess there might be a little bit thrown in there around how we manage tech so it doesn't manage us, but I've thrown a lot at you. I'm kind of just playing with it right now. There's a lot of pieces there, but it is an exciting time, but at the same time, we have to keep thinking about the technology and how we make it work for us and our learners to be successful.
Well, thank you. I know for myself, when I listen to what you have to say, I know that's a type of presentation that I would love to be in, and I'm really excited, along with my colleagues, to take part in a presentation about that, because it is an exciting time. I think in our organization, we have students now coming back face-to-face after spring break, but we will also be keeping the asynchronous piece with Microsoft Teams and the related apps. And it's just, like you said, you use the word, I think, harness, right? And it's about harnessing those tools to make learning much more engaging, and like you said, with the end goal in mind. So I know I speak for myself. I'm very excited about hearing that. So just want to thank you again, Dave, taking time out of your day to talk about the conference. And it's just around the corner. So it's going to be, May May 19th and 20th. So thank you again. Appreciate it.
Yeah, it's my pleasure. I'm looking forward to it, as I haven't presented live in front of people in person in a long time.
Right. Absolutely.
It should be fun.
Thank you again. Thank you again.
All right. Thanks.